to inform your wagering decisions. My name is Alex Chan, Twitter handle Ian Lazarin. Thank you for joining us on a pretty busy Friday evening. Hope you're having a good evening and you are winning some bets. But we're going to go over a couple games that I will be wagering on this weekend. But before we get into them, I want to let you know about a promotion that we're running at BetQL. You can get 20% off any subscription at BetQL by using the promo code of Chan. A subscription will give you access to the BetQL model. It will also give you access to the results from simulations, as well as reports as to how the public is betting, how sharps are betting, line movement. You will see spread bets, total bets, first half spread bets, first half total bets. Plans are available on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and a yearly basis as well. The first game that we are going to review is the UMass Marshall game scheduled for tomorrow morning. Marshall, number 6, is the 16th ranked team in the country, according to the Associated Press. They are 44-point favorites. The over-under is set at 55.5 points. I do have an article up about this game on the BetQL website if you want to go review it, but I'll be laying the points with Marshall. I know it's a very large spread, and these large spreads tend to be incredibly scary, but I think it's warranted against a team that shouldn't be playing FBS football in UMass. In fact, I probably would rate UMass a lot lower than many of the FBS teams and many of the FCS teams that face FBS teams from time to time. UMass has lost 12 of their last 13 games. Their average differential during this time period is a negative 33.5 points. So they're not just losing; they are getting run in their games. Marshall is the Thunder and Herd are undefeated this season. They're averaging 33.8 points. Their offense has appeared a lot more competent offensively this season. They've always had a strong defense. They're only giving up 9.4 points per game this season, but their offense does appear a lot more competent. Marshall's undefeated record is not just because they faced a cupcake schedule. They've beaten legitimate teams like Appalachian State, Louisiana Tech. They do have a QB in Grant Wells. He's a freshman QB. He, at least thus far, he looks like an improvement over their really shaky quarterback play from last season. The kid can actually throw a pass. He's averaging he passes for an average of 8.8 yards per pass. He's completed 64% of them. He has a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Brendan Knox is having a solid season as well. He's averaging around 4.6 yards per rush. I mean, last season Marshall averaged around close to 26 points per game. So their offense is averaging a little bit over around 8 points more than they did last season. Marshall hasn't always been the type of team that you want to lay points with. They probably work better as an underdog team than they do as a favorite. But this UMass team is just so bad. If you remember UMass from last season, they started a QB named Andrew Brito. He's not even on their depth chart this season. UMass's first game this season was against Georgia Southern, and they just got absolute run in that game. They were shut out, and they had weeks as well to prepare for that game, and they still couldn't even put up a point or muster any signs of life against a Georgia Southern team that's not a defensive powerhouse under any stretch of the imagination. So that's why I like laying the points with Marshall in this game. I think Marshall doesn't strike me as a team that's going to take their foot off the gas when they run out to a big lead. They're going to want to put points on the board to improve their standing. And I don't think you'll have to worry about a situation where Marshall gets up by such a large margin that they're all of a sudden going to call off the dogs. This is one of those games where Marshall is going to be able to name their score. I don't see any chance. There's no real chance that UMass can compete in this game. But so the only question is whether or not Marshall can cover the spread. I think they will. The total is not as exciting to me because there's a decent chance UMass is not going to be able to score any points. You probably need two teams. You need both teams to make something work for an over to hit. And I don't trust UMass in this situation to score enough points. I guess you can say Marshall maybe gets to 55.5 on their own. That's as possible as well. I just think it's safer to lay the points with Marshall in this situation. So that's the big college game that I'm going to be placing my largest wager on tomorrow. So I do. My recommendation is to lay the points with Marshall. The next game that we are going to review, we're going to go on to the NFL, and the Ravens are going to be playing the Colts. The Ravens are 1-point underdogs against Indianapolis. The over/under is set at 48 points. And when I first looked at this, I was kind of shocked to see the Ravens to be underdogs in this spot. I know they certainly haven't looked as impressive as they did last season. Lamar Jackson hasn't looked as impressive as he did last season. He's had issues with turnovers, and I know they have significant injuries. Their running back Mark Ingram is questionable or doubtful the last time I checked for this game. So, and the Colts are certainly a credible opponent as well. But I think it does not. I think the right play right on this game is to take the points of the Ravens. The Ravens have pretty much beaten every opponent they've faced except for tough opponents like the Steelers and the Chiefs. They've beaten every opponent. I know that people will point to their inability to cover the spread against the Eagles a couple weeks ago, but that was due a lot in part to late game touchdowns that didn't meaningfully impact the outcome of the game. And this is a situation where all you really need the Ravens to do is to win the game. So I think taking the points with the Ravens makes sense in this situation. I'll be taking the points. I don't really have a strong position on the total. I don't think totals are really. I have not really detected a clear pattern with the totals in the NFL. Generally speaking, games tend to be lower scoring as the season progresses. I haven't checked to see if that's actually the case. There seems to be a lot of variance when it comes to totals, and I'm probably not comfortable right now with placing a wager on a total in a game like this, especially when you can get the Ravens as underdogs. All you need to cover is for the Ravens to win, and frankly, you don't even need them to win. Like, the Colts could conceivably win by a point, and you would push in that situation. So, I mean, think about it. If somebody told you at the beginning of the season that you would be getting the Ravens as underdogs on the road against the Indianapolis Colts, you'd probably be jumping at the opportunity to place a wager on Baltimore. They haven't looked as great as they have last season. I guess there's some regression was to be expected, and Lamar Jackson certainly does not appear to be taking his game to the next level. But this is a situation where I think it's a good bounce back spot for them. And I think people are overreacting to their struggles against the spread and against their opponents over the last 2 weeks. So I think it makes sense to take the points with the Ravens. If you want to find out what the BetQL model has to say about every game on the NFL calendar and the college football calendar tomorrow and on Sunday and on Monday as well, I would recommend using the promo code CHAN to subscribe to BetQL. The promo code of CHAN will get you 20% off any subscription. Again, you can choose the subscription plan that works best for you. There are weekly, monthly, yearly plans available for one sport, two sport, all sports. So choose the plan that works best for you. Go tail what the model has to say on its 5-star and 4-star spread and total bets. The model also will give you projections as to soccer if you're interested in what's going on in MLS, Bundesliga, the Premier League, La Liga, and Serie A. So use the promo code CHAN to get 20% off any subscription if you're interested in seeing what the model has to say for this weekend's games. Well, that's the Big Data Show for this evening. I hope you have a relaxing evening. Good luck on your bets tomorrow and on Sunday and on Monday as well. Stay safe, and until then, we'll catch you next time on the Big Data Show. Thank you for joining us.